Greetings, welcome, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
We are a song and dance troupe now. Yep. Called
I'm always dancing.
Jack and the Yankee.
Am I the Yankee?
Yeah, handsome Jack and the Yankee. You're the Yankee now that you live on the East Coast. I'm the handsome Jack.
Now I'm now considered part of the North. I've committed the war of northern aggression.
You really have. What it was all about states' rights, and you trampled on that.
Yeah, because I was originally from Maryland. I think Maryland's like kind of on the Mason-Dixon line, so not sure what Maryland's stance was, where Maryland fell on during the Civil War.
I mean, they're north of Virginia, right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they were on Union side.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I grew up and lived there, and I have no idea. I'm woefully ignorant of the Civil War, it seems.
Yeah, look who didn't pay attention in history class.
Yeah, I think I was paying more attention to like Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles during that time. So I know the inner lore of those, but like the inner lore of the United States, I have no fucking clue.
Bummer. Well, we are here to talk about Star Trek Discovery today.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but first, let's talk a little bit about something we have called our Patreon.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, if you'd like to support us, please go over to patreon.com/dumbidiotbs. That's patreon.com/dumbidiotbs, where you can get so many things, you can get all of our episodes for as little as free, by the way. You can become a free member and get stuff like all of our episodes at once when I get done making them in high quality instead of, that trashy mono sound that they produce on that Spotify and stuff. Yucky.
That you pass around in high school, that mono.
Oh, yeah, the mononucleosis. Did you ever get that from kissing anybody?
I didn't. You know why? Nobody kissed me.
Hey, me either. And I didn't kiss anybody either.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I if I got the flu, I pretended it's like, oh my god, I guess I got mono, but no. The kids knew. They're like, Pat, that motherfucker ain't kissing anybody. And they're like, damn it.
No. Bummer. I mean, you can get mono in lots of ways. Like, it doesn't have to be kissing people.
Licking toilet seats.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I definitely was doing. That's how I got the flu.
Right. By the flu, you mean syphilis.
Yeah. God's love source.
Yeah. I wonder if I know anyone who has like syphilis and is like slowly going mad because of it.
Maybe.
Because sometimes you lose your mind before you start, having other symptoms.
Yeah, Al Capone, his brain was just Swiss cheese.
From syphilis?
Yeah.
Wild.
Is that what he had?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a Al Capone brain expert. Sorry, bud.
Like I said, I know my knowledge base is basically TV shows I watched. So that's any real stuff.
Like. Right. So anyway, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/dumbidiotbs, and there we have certain tiers for $5 a month. We'll say thank you and mention your name on the podcast to people just like Dylan Lance, Jordan Hale, Elizabeth Hearn, Nick Savard, Shane Sawyer, David Craning Seitz, Electric Baphomet, Gursky, Jormore, Kyle Simmons, Gillian McCrary, SFC Punk, 7 of 9, D. Riker, Ethan Adams, James Hartman, Iggy, Abigail Simpson, Shane Williams, Sam Mayo, Seb, Robert Yolito, Asher Pliskin, Skeptic, Papa Poison, Awful Star Trek Drawings, Jose Martinez, Nova, Gabe Siciliano, Big Strong Boy, Vinny, Luna Dahlia, Former Twink, Nathan G, and our good friends over at Hate Speech Podcast, the Bruce Campbell Podcast, and Anamorphin Time. And yeah, actually, you know what? We have a few like new members on our merch tier. Let me check out who those folks are. New people on the Patreon, we're gonna shout you out. Danny and Latch Vinyl. Latch Vinyl? We'll go for that. They'll probably correct me. I asked them.
We're really sorry if
I already asked them in a DM how to phonetically pronounce their name, so I'm already on it.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's cool. We also have a merch tier where I send out merch, like classic Soy Trek merch. If you know about our merch, it's like legendary, but Paramount shut us down, but I still have a bunch of blanks. So if you're on our merch tier, you don't actually pay for the copywritten stuff. You just pay for a random merch package that has maybe some of my stock that I want to get rid of. Maybe.
And may just so happen to have some copyrighted material on it.
Perhaps.
But you're not paying for that.
No, you're not paying for that. You're paying for the postage and handling and other things on the Patreon. Let's see, what else can you get on the Patreon? Oh yeah, access to a little thing called
the Media Dungeon,
which is my Plex server that I watch a lot of movies on. You can watch a lot of movies on. Guess how many movies I have, Patrick?
100 million.
100 million. A little bit more, buddy. Give me some credit. 300 million.
Oh, nice.
300 million movies. More movies than you can shake a stick at. No, I actually have 19,211, I think.
Hells yeah.
That's a lot of movies.
You could probably watch that. If you started watching now, you probably still wouldn't be able to watch everything. You would die.
I mean, if you watched a movie every day from my server, it would take you like 35 years.
Hells yeah.
Yeah.
So you should.
Maybe you should. Yeah. Take some time. Watch some movie. Get educated on film. I'll keep updating it, and you'll never be able to keep up. You'll never be able to keep up with my movie server.
Watch a new movie every night.
You could. Very, very potentially. There's like pretty much a new movie release like every day at this point. So if you want to watch a new movie every night, it's totally a thing. Anyway, that's our Patreon at patreon.com/dumbidiotbs. And for those who support us, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you so much. You help keep us ad-free, editorially neutral, and by that I mean Marxist. So, what's going on? What's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Cool. You want to talk about some Star Trek?
Let's talk about some Star Trek.
Cool.
Let's get into the newest discovery.
First, is there any Star Trek news, do you think?
Did we talk about them canceling
Lower Decks,
like building the last season of Lower Decks?
No, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. That does suck. But on a good note, the original model for the Enterprise reappeared recently.
Oh, really?
It was missing for years.
Just in some guy's house. Some guy was just sitting on it.
Yeah,
probably resting his beers on top of it.
Yeah. It was the one used in the pilot episode, not in like the extended stuff. But like an original is an original. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm shivering. I shouldn't have worn shorts today. Gosh, I'm actually going to pause real quick and put on pants.
Put pants on.
Yeah. All right, that's much better. So yeah,
I got some pants on.
I fucking love pants, dude. Pants are so cool.
It's pretty hot here, so I'm currently in Shortsville.
Yeah,
you're USA.
You're in shorts like if it's like 60 degrees or hotter out.
Yeah, I'm a year-round shorts guy.
Yeah, I'm a 70 degrees or hotter shorts guy. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe you can talk me into shorts at like 68, but not like the short shorts. And I like wearing my short shorts. So. Anyway, we're here to talk about Star Trek Discovery today, the newest episode from season 5, episode 5. We got Discovery 5-5, Mirrors.
Hells yeah.
This one first aired April 25th, 2024, which is just a few days ago, depending on when you're listening to this. And this one was written by 2 writers, Joanna Lee, who is only 1 episode of Discovery, but also wrote 3 episodes of Charmed and 8 of Altered Carbon, which was supposedly a pretty good show. And co-written by friend of the podcast, Carlos Cisco, who we interviewed on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a SAG strike captain, all-around good dude, staff writer for 14 episodes of Discovery, and writer of But to Connect from season 4. So this is his 2nd episode with writing credit on it. Main writing credit on it. And then it is directed by Jen McGowan. This is their 3rd episode of Discovery after season 4's All In and Rosetta. They also directed the movies Rust Creek and Kelly and Cow.
Never seen any of those.
Yeah. So we open on a personal log from Book. Personal log, Cleveland Booker, stardate 866-282.9. My mentor.
I mean, does he only have personal logs? He has no official capacity.
That's true.
And Starfleet.
Yeah.
So it's just like, why even designate that it's a personal log? Like, he's just a guy that hangs out on the ship and goes on all the away missions. He doesn't.
Right. Is he handing this into Starfleet or?
Yeah. He doesn't. None of this. Like, this is just his personal diary. Like, everything he would record would be a personal diary. I mean, I guess this is just like a way for them to, like sneak in, having him do the voiceover,
right?
And info dump. But like, yeah, I was kind of wondering, like, why do we care what you have to? I mean, he is like technically the 2nd most important person on the ship.
Yeah, I mean, it should be Rayner, but it's definitely Book. Because he has, like, powers, and he's on every away mission with Michael.
Every single away mission.
We'll get to that. Anyway, so he continues. My mentor, the man who gave me my name, my new life, he used to say, no matter how bad things get, the one thing you'll always have is a choice. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't made some questionable ones, but I've made some good ones, too. Which is how I know it's not too late for his daughter. He's talking about Maul. If I can turn things around, so can she. Cleveland showed me how things could be, who I could be. And I suppose just in doing that, he saved me. I owe it to him to do the same for her. Today, I may get my chance. We're at their last known coordinates. Seems like we're about to find them. So, Book walks onto the bridge, and everyone takes their seats. Burnham gives the floor to Stamets and Tilly. Stamets says when they got there, it looked like a warp trail going to nowhere, but they found a wormhole leading into a pocket of interdimensional space. They have to get through it to get to the next clue, which Maul and Locke are probably in. Burnham says Burnham has the shuttle prepared, and Burnham proposes she and Book should go. So,
of course,
I
don't even know why she even has to say anything anymore. It's just like no one else goes on away missions.
No, it's always
the
Book
only
burn. Yeah,
ever since like what he was introduced in season 3, and it's been that way since season 3. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's.
I guess they have more chemistry than most of the people on the show, but like they have other specialists and other things.
Really, I feel like they're kind of almost the two most boring members on the entire ship. And again, and the fact that we're also just rehashing the love story from before,
right?
I feel like this, and then also of course like the books family member type storyline. It's like this is just the third and fourth plot lines all over again.
Mm-hmm.
This time just simultaneously, because obviously they're falling in love again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't end up at the end of the season. So I'm just like, okay, we've seen this before.
Right.
Like I feel like I kind of just almost feel like the show does a step backwards
a
lot. I feel like they broke them up in the season 4 just so they can do the love plot line all over again.
I kind of feel the same way with Gray and Adira.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if maybe they did break them up for good, but
maybe they plan to get them back together, but they only have so many episodes left. We're halfway through the last season.
Yeah, we're halfway through, and it's just like another episode where we just have to always be talking about the main thread of the season over and over and over again. Like, I think we should start keeping a counter of how many times they say Maul and Locke. Because I feel like I did that with like the things that the big bads of the last season, and they're doing it again. Like, it gets so repetitive for me.
Yeah. Me too. So Rayner requests a word. In the ready room, Rayner says it's too risky of a mission for her to go on and offers to go himself. Burnham insists it's Book's connection to Maul that they're counting on, and it's too risky to send a security team. Burnham asks what it's really about for him. He says he's just doing his job and he wouldn't want to disadvantage any mission. Burnham says he has his orders and leaves. So once again, Rayner being the reasonable one in the room, but it is what it is. So the shuttle leaves Discovery and flies into the wormhole. Book waxes.
Yeah, because isn't he like, yeah, I should be on this. And then she kind of turns around at him. She kind of does like the manipulation that Gray did to a deer almost, where she's like, what's this really about? He makes a reasonable request. Like, you need to have someone else. You need to take a security team with you. You need to, you need to bring some experts. Because like typically in these situations, you would bring like some of the science officers with you, a security team.
This is another like you are in a state of flux kind of thing.
Instead she's like, what's this really about? Are you like you just don't want to be alone on the ship and have to look over people? I'm like, he's been doing that. Like he does that every single time you leave the ship. Like this is nothing new, and this like. Yeah, but it makes a reasonable request because, like, obviously, like that's the kind of relationship Riker and Picard had, where Riker said, like, it's my job to be in danger and keep you safe.
Right.
You're the most important. You're like the captain's the most important person. And obviously, like Kirk obviously did not do that. But still, he makes reasonable requests, and the fact, but Kirk usually always brought like an expert with him, and of course like Spock and Bones, and
a security team, plenty of red shirts
and a security team. Always had always brought security and also had usually like an expert in whatever field they were going into that day. And it's just like, instead it's just like, okay, do we really think like the captain and then like some random guy who isn't even associated with Starfleet besides being a former prisoner of the Federation.
But he can talk to animals with his mind, dude.
He can talk to animals with his mind. So like, I would have been like, okay,
so why is he going on to another spaceship? Yeah. What's he going to do there?
Why is he going through a space butthole?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And what's his utility here? And instead, like Rayner brings up a very good point. And then she's just like, oh, this isn't about you actually caring about the success of the mission. This is about you not wanting to step up and be captain.
Yeah, Burnham is just like the girl, like taking her loser boyfriend with her and being like, I'm bringing my boyfriend with me.
I'm bringing my boyfriend.
I'm bringing my boyfriend with me. You can't stop me. I'm bringing my boyfriend with me. I paid for one ticket, and I'm bringing my boyfriend with me.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, yeah, there's never any surprise to like these episodes, because it's just like, the Burnham and Burnham and her boyfriend, her boyfriend that she's like, oh no, he's awesome, like, I swear he can do all this stuff. He can talk to animals with his mind.
It's weird. No one on the bridge. I mean, I'm sure like as soon as they beam away, like everyone on the bridge just like turns around and goes, she took her motherfucking boyfriend with her again. Like everyone's just talking mad shit on the captain. Yeah, and then there's like this one guy like, hey guys, what about our teamwork? And I mean, the Federation makes us stronger. And they're like, man, you fucking nerd, shut the fuck up. Detmer like throws a spit wad at him. Like,
yeah, that would be funny if every next away mission she's just like, I think the person I need to bring with me, and everyone in unison is just like, Cleveland Booker the fourth. Just basically just like, wow, big surprise there.
Yeah,
like we need them rolling their eyes, because like, it's just like, why? Like I feel like if I had joined, and you travel 1,000 years into the future, like. You want to go on a fucking away mission. You want to see shit.
Right, exactly. But Michael Burnham is like, no, it's important that they're on the bridge. And like, I didn't sign up for Starfleet to fucking check sensors all day. Like, I'm a scientist.
I get to do all the cool shit.
I'm a scientist. I want to see stuff. None of the scientists on the ship ever get to leave the fucking lab.
No, not at all. And it's just like, and any other like episode of Star Trek, this would be like the learning point for the character, where they how Burnham's always like, I can do it all by myself, and then like that's the lesson she has to learn. She has to rely on others, and she never learns that lesson.
You know what Burnham is? Burnham is like a tech CEO that's like really into like the fucking like daredevil shit and like climbing Everest and shit like that. Yeah, it's that
sort
personality
of like
type.
The Virgin Airlines guy.
Yeah. Richard Branson type. Yeah.
Just going water skiing with Obama or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, but that's kind of does fit the early themes of the show, because early on in Discovery, they've clearly like not mentioned it since, but it was very like talked up Elon Musk. It was very Elon Musk is like this solitary genius who takes all in his own hands. And I think now the fact like people actually know the truth about him, or obviously he's probably not even like
people have
people have
retconned that and been like, oh, it's proof that it's evil Lorca, and I'm like, no, it was a dumbass writer who dropped a bullshit line, and they read it in fucking earnest, because they weren't trying to short sell fucking Elon. They thought they were dick riding Elon, and it just proves that, like, I don't know, the writing on Discovery a lot of the time has been like fairly short-sighted. And very also, of the time, it feels like a time capsule,
very
even
liberal, where it's just like the meritocracy of like the good people who can do everything. There's only I, not we. It's like success is entirely based on like the good people being at the top who can do everything or something.
And oftentimes, like with control and stuff, like, it's not like things are systemically bad. It's like bad apples are bad and can make things bad for other people. But if you remove that...
I mean, look, they had like Stacey Abrams on that one episode. And so, and
President
like,
of Earth, baby.
And so it's just like, this idea that people are only in those places because they're the best at what they do, not like because they're just scumbags.
So the shuttle leaves Discovery and flies into a wormhole. Book waxes poetical and how he might not be so different from Maul. They make their way to the wormhole entrance.
So boring.
I know. Whenever I say waxes poetical, I'm talking about like at least a minute and 30 seconds of like dialogue or monologue that I just like want to skip. But I'm still writing about it. So they make their way to the wormhole entrance and do some technobabble. And when I say technobabble, I usually mean a solid 45 seconds of shit that doesn't really matter. And just like them explaining how they're going to do things, which is fine to some extent. I'm used to it being a little more brief and just like, you know, them giving a brief explanation unless it's like the crux of the episode, you know, which this isn't really the crux of the episode. So they make their way into the wormhole and they lose their comms on Discovery. Raynor puts up yellow alert. In the wormhole, they almost hit some debris and come to a cruising speed when they see half of Maul and Locke's ship completely destroyed. Burnham sees something, though, a mirror universe version of the USS Enterprise, like the original. Credits, 10 minutes and 15 seconds in. I am not excited for another Burnham book away mission episode. I get that they really want to focus on these two actors, but I still really prefer an ensemble cast that's actually utilized. I mean, they're literally paying. Yeah, I mean, they're paying people to deliver a line an episode. Like, and I get that they did that sometimes on, like, DS9 or whatever, but there was usually at least like 4 or 5 of the main actors involved in the main plot. Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, there's kind of a B plot here, but I mean, not really.
Not really. I mean, it's, I don't know. That's what makes me like all of these episodes just always blend into a single episode for me, because it's always like the same. It's basically almost like Mad Libs, where it's like Burnham and Book go into, a butthole. Mm-hmm. It's just, and that's the extent of it. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like, okay, you just do something. And again, like this, like I think as we were saying last episode, they completely squander a time travel type episode by not bringing back anybody interesting. Here we bring back, the Terran Empire Enterprise, and don't do anything interesting with it.
No, we don't see any Terrans. It's like
we don't see any Terrans.
Right. And it's not a mirror universe episode really at all. They don't even go into the mirror universe. There's just something from the mirror universe in interdimensional space that they drag out. They don't have any
sort of interesting reveals at all. Like, it's like, I think at one point they mentioned that there was like something going on with the transporters, and I thought like, oh, maybe they pulled a Scotty, and they, the Terrans put themselves in sort of like a transporter stasis and survived in that after they got sucked into this wormhole, and they decided the only way to sustain their life was to put them things, and then they kind of release them, and antics ensue, but that didn't happen again. It was like, so it's like stuff that's completely like concepts that are just like go nowhere, and focuses more on the melodrama between Book and Burnham, and then Book and Maul. I think we'd have some like points, where we get some like interesting reveals on the Maul and Locke side, but like, I don't know, didn't really hit for me.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but there's no Saru in this episode, and he's not credited in the opening credits either. Doug Jones.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I kind of wonder why he kind of stepped away. Like, I wonder if he's just like,
he said a few years ago that he's stepping away from roles that require him to wear a lot of makeup.
I could see that, because that's what I was about to say. Like, I was like, it's like you go through all this like makeup time. He probably spends like 3 to 4 hours probably in makeup. Sometimes.
Yeah. Wake up and makeup. That's what he does.
And then like, and then you just go, and then you don't get to do anything interesting. You just sit in the chair and be like, have fun, Book and Burnham on your away mission. And so it's just like, they didn't give him any meat
No meat on that bone, baby. No meat on that bone.
You're at a certain point, you're just like, well, why am I spending 3 to 4 hours in the makeup chair every day and just to not do anything?
Yeah. So Stamets and Adira continue to work away at boosting signals, and Stamets insists that the time bug from the last episode wasn't their fault. Rayner says he doesn't need to know how the cake is boiled, and Adira asks if his people really boil their cakes, in maybe the best joke so far this season. I enjoyed the cake boiling joke. They do me too. Yeah, they do some techno babble about saving Burnham and Book, and Stamets tells Rayner he's not in this alone. With Book burn, they make their way into the Mirror Enterprise. On the bridge, they use the ship's sensors to find the clue and Maul and Locke all together. Burnham notices Book is at her brother's station on the non-Mirror Enterprise, and Book's hack works. He hacks into the mainframe. And again,
like something that's introduced something interesting, Mirror Spock's station.
Right.
Doesn't do anything with it.
Right.
It's like don't even mention it.
No.
Like none of this stuff matters. Like, you want to include this stuff, do something with it. It's
right.
Like they should be serving as a vehicle to do fun stuff instead of just doing like their own personal adventure stuff, which has kind of become really boring. Like, all the weird karate they do every single episode's so boring to me. It just like I'm just like my eyes glaze over watching it.
Yeah, and this is like an action adventure show at its core. Like, I think more so than sci-fi, even though there's like a lot of techno babble. It's like, kind of filling up a lot of, I guess, space.
And there's actually very little morality and philosophy that's even explored in the sense of
there is that they wax poetical on the philosophy of the Federation and teamwork and like connection and togetherness,
but on a very
surface
level, just we're supposed to be the good guys, and there's no they're saying like with like the progenitors technology, there's no more like moral hesitation they have, just like procuring it even for themselves, are they even like worthy enough to like
you know what this feels like? This is like a Star Trek show written by HR.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone on this thing does feel like very HR coded. I mean, was it this episode or was it the last episode with where Tilly asks Culber, "Are you doing okay?" He's like, "I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine." No, I think it was the last episode, and it's just like he starts like almost in a patronizing way, being like, "Okay, Doc," so,
right.
like that's like because she just has like normal empathy for someone asking how they are.
So they find the Mirror Enterprise was abandoned at some point. Burnham reads 5 life signs: themselves, Maul, Locke, and the clue. They go to Medbay to find them. On their way to Medbay,
how did the clue have a life sign?
That's a good question. Why did they only bring 2 people on the away mission?
Because it's like that's what they always do.
But why? They have more. They could bring more people, like more experts. Like, I don't know. Their shuttle can hold more than 2 people, right?
Yeah.
You assume
that's what Rayner was bringing point. You can bring a security team. Like, you were literally going after 2 people who have so far evaded you completely. Like, these 2 people are outsmarting the entire Federation, and they're clearly like dangerous and are skilled martially.
Excuse me, Patrick. The only way you can defeat a rogue duo is, guess what? With the rogue duo. It's action adventure rules.
A good rogue duo.
Yeah, action adventure rules. All right.
Yeah. Yep, perfectly evened out. 1 man, 1 woman against another 1 man, 1 woman, and so you're equally matched. Except like the good people are good, We know that for a fact.
Yeah, they know that for a fact, and they talk about it every episode, how good they are.
And there's no gray area of like, with the Maul and Locke, clearly, obviously they're evil.
Right.
This is kind of
they're either that or misled, or they have trauma that they're like acting on.
They're well intentioned, but not good, not enough. And I was thinking a lot about like the red letter media theory of like the black tank top.
What's that?
And I think these guys who make personal films about themselves where they cast themselves as the hero, and they always wear black tank tops, and they're always like the smartest.
Guess what I'm wearing right now, motherfucker?
Wearing a black tank top.
I'm wearing a black tank top, baby.
Your blank tank top coat.
Producing this podcast, wearing a black tank top. Guess what kind of podcast this is? That's right, a weird vanity project.
Weird vanity project. And so exactly, it's like, and this does feel like almost like a vanity project, but it's just like, instead of like the black tank top, we have like the cool black trench coat, and some people who don't play by the rules, and and every time Burnham goes on these away missions, she has to change into like a cool black uniform, because I do feel like the creators of Discovery themselves almost feel like the color coded uniforms are kind of cringe. I kind of get that sense, and that's why that we have to always go on send the guy in the trench coat and like the cool outfits instead of like a person wearing like a yellow or red.
They've never really had colored uniforms. I mean, they have for like some different departments, but like generally they're all wearing like the blue and stuff, and then now I don't even remember what are they still blue again?
No, they're that's the thing. It's hard to even know because like we barely see but now they went back to like color coded uniforms, and
didn't they?
And when they got to the future, because like now Burnham wears like a red, red one. And,
that's right, because the guy's like, red's your color. That's right.
Yeah, and but of course, like the moment she gets into that away mission with Book, she changes into like an all black cool leather outfit instead of like wearing a just a uniform, because I do feel like they think it's much cooler to be looking cool and doing all this karate stuff.
Kicking ass. You can't move in that uniform. You can't do your karate in that uniform. It's restrictive.
Can't do it.
Yeah. On their way to Medbay, Book and Byrne find clothes and blankets from a kid and a stuffed animal. They find that was made in like 2005. Like it's like, I'm like, they haven't improved stuffed animals since then. That's wild. They find a plaque giving the story of the Mirror Enterprise, which escaped in solidarity with a chancellor who tried to make reforms. It says that the Mirror Saru helped them. And they're like, and Book's like, Action Saru in any universe. And I'm like, they're really trying to make the Action Saru a thing, huh? It says
it's not a thing. It's not a thing.
And the thing says, so the ship got stuck in the wormhole and they evacuated. So abandoning the Mirror Enterprise in the wormhole. So
again, this is something that would have been better shown, not told.
Right.
Because I was like, okay. And you have this massive budget and you can't do this. And I do feel it's because they're like telling that story would have taken like attention away from like gotta get Maul and Locke.
I mean,
they gotta do
they could have like
thing between Bug and Markham.
They could have got
Bookburn.
They could have gotten like ship logs or something like that, like looked at the final ship log, because that would probably explain what happened there. But instead, there's a plaque. Before leaving, they replicated a plaque and put it on the ship.
They were sleeping in basically like cots and making and had pieces of cloth to separate their cots, but they were able to make a plaque
Right. The fucking plaque makers
that takes precedent over everything
right.
else.
There's like a red alert emergency and they're fucking evacuating the ship and the plaque maker's like, no, give me just 2 more hours. I'm just getting the kerning right.
Yeah, again, like I was just like, it's like, why even include this? Like it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't affect the story.
No.
There's nothing. There's like whatever story is being told. It's just like gotta get the red herring. Just have to get that red herring. Gotta fight Ball and Lock, and that's the every episode. Every episode, it's just that.
Every single episode. So they go to medbay and there's a legion of hollow doubles aimed at them. They decide to destroy the hollow emitter and jump into the room and start shooting. They kill the hollow emitter and Maul tells them to leave them alone. Burnham offers them surrender. Book comes out and tells Maul that he knew her father. Burnham says she'll get a fair trial along with Locke, but Locke says they have the clue.
For what? What crimes do they commit?
They're I mean, they murdered a bunch of people in the second episode or whatever, or in the first episode at the.
But that's not why they're after them. It's just
not
like,
at all.
You know, like
they don't even have proof of that. Like exactly.
Yeah. By the way salvage works, like they were completely within their rights to take that.
Yeah, everything they've done on they're answerable maybe if they were extraditing them, but I don't think so. I think they went to like an unincorporated planet, so that's on their government to extradite them or go after them. So they
and really this is like a violation of the Prime Directive more than anything else. It's just like they're overreaching their authority on these two people just because like they have something and they've deemed them unworthy of having it, and that's all this is about. Like they've committed no crimes. Like and the only reason why we know that they need to be after them because like we all watched the episode with the progenitors. We know they have interesting technology. We know this is just like a ripoff of the Halo series. They have to activate the Halo. I just don't feel like I feel like their reaction to this is completely overblown. Just to go after these two people, and they don't really try to. They've tried once to reach them through. Book did, of course. Like only Book has tried to, not like anybody else. But like actually just reason with them like normal human beings, or even just like offer them
money,
what it's worth.
Right? Like a bunch of money, or a starship, or like something that they really fucking want. Like because if fucking. Apparently the Federation is willing to spare no expense on this mission, but they haven't even tried any expense on this mission.
As
except
long
for
as
hunting these people down and trying to kill them,
being arrested. Being either arrested or killed, and that's the only way this can end. Apparently, not that's the thing. Like again, like in other Star Trek, they would have tried diplomacy. They would have reasoned with them or tried to not overexert their force. That's actually like using force like this is like a failure of the Federation.
You don't usually see the Federation firing first onto a fortified room.
No,
which is what they do here.
It's just like a Han shot first type situation.
So, Locke says they have the clue and can give them a ride out of there, and give them a replication of the clue. Sorry.
And he's so reasonable.
I know, so reasonable.
He's being completely reasonable.
But Burnham knows that's not the real clue and holds up a necklace. It's revealed that Locke is in fact Breen. Which is an interesting reveal. So that's what the brain looked like.
Yeah. Again, that's like something that I thought would be interesting, but then like I'm just like, okay, they're just like weird lumpy-headed green guys.
Yeah.
All right.
So Burnham figures
I
out...
actually kind of like the mystery of not seeing them.
Almost, yeah, me too. This is, I guess, an interesting reveal, and it's not a bad look, I guess. It's fine, but like...
Yeah.
Whatever. So Burnham figures out that the Breen are trying to find Maul and Locke for something that Maul did. Or maybe Locke. So in the past, we go into a back... I want to say back shot, but that's just because I'm a fucking pervert. We go to a fucking... What's the word I'm looking for? We go
back
to the
flash.
flashback. There we go. Thank you. Flashback shot. We go to a flashback shot, and Maul is on a Breen ship asking how long she has to wait since she's a delivery person. A commander comes up and Maul says she likes Latinum and long walks on the beach. The commander says he needs to inspect the goods.
Again, this is like such cheesy fucking... Like, I don't even think they're trying to honestly write anything interesting. Like, that's just like, again, like it's no.
The boiled cake was good.
Like,
the boiled cake was good. This one was not.
The boiled cake was good. That's in universe. That feels natural. It feels like that's something. And like saying you like long walks on the beach, like you fucking spend your entire life in space,
right? And like what?
And that's also like also like a casual like joke saying that we have now.
That's
like,
a very
in the
Earth
future
saying.
that still exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
on Breen. Yeah, like you think they get that on Breen?
Yeah, we don't even know what the Breen homeworld's like. Do they have beaches? Does that register with him at all?
Right. He's probably like this. It probably like fucking translates into hello. I enjoy this is me. I like money and long walks near water. And he's like,
yeah. Okay.
What? Can I? What?
But yeah, it just I don't know. It just feels so lazy to me.
So the commander says he needs to inspect the goods, so Maul starts to fight him. She recognizes him as royalty and realizes he's a disgraced fail son. She offers him a payback as he arrests her. She handcuffs herself and Locke accepts the deal. No, she unhandcuffs herself and Locke accepts the deal. Back to the present, and Maul says whatever they did is none of the Federation's business. Burnham again offers surrender.
He's correct.
Yeah. So Burnham again offers surrender, so Maul and Locke start firing again. Totally reasonable. Maul locks them out with a force field accidentally, but the control panel is fried, so Locke and Burnham are trapped in there in a standoff while Book and Maul have to go work together. Back in the past, Maul gives Locke a thing, and he says she's free to go. He says his uncle is coming down, and he needs to shine his boots, and Maul asks if that's a euphemism, which was actually a decent joke. Maul says he needs... Maul says he made her a promise.
Are you gonna fuck your uncle?
Yeah, right. But I think the implication was his uncle was coming down and he needed to masturbate first, which is actually like a really. It's like how they say on the first date you got to jerk off beforehand. So if you go in, you don't bust real fast, right? It's like the same principle. When your uncle's coming over, everyone at the party is like, "What, dude? What do you mean when your uncle's coming over, you gotta masturbate? What does that mean, dude? What do you? I should just tweet that out. BRB, gotta go masturbate. Uncle's coming over later. Like
uncle's coming over. I gotta go shine my uncle's boots, if you know what I'm saying.
So I actually like that joke because it implies a lot. It implies it could be some weird shit, brother. So
and he didn't say no.
Yeah. So Maul says he made her a promise, and he promises again. She asks to see what he looks like, and he says that's not him as he reveals it. She says both faces are a part of him, and they have an emotional little dialogue before he removes his helmet, revealing his fucked up green face. So in the present, Book and Maul are walking through the hallway.
I bet it stank under that helmet.
Oh, I know it smelled crazy in there. I know it smelled crazy. So in the present, Book and Maul are walking through the hallway. He says his mentor, Cleveland Booker, abandoned Maul and her mother, but that was the hardest choice he ever had to make, and he did it to protect her. She tells Book he has daddy issues. She says he abandoned them. And Locke is the only thing that matters to her. So daddy issues. Daddy issues. With Burnham, she's still in a standoff with Locke and asks what he's even looking for, and Locke says it's ultimate power. Burnham says if the Breen get a hold of the power, it could be catastrophic. Burnham says the Federation is all about second chances. Just look at her. Look at Book. Locke says if they were to turn themselves in, if they could serve their time together, Burnham says she'll advocate for them serving their time together, which is like, okay. What kind of prison
That's typically
sentences?
something that's done in prisons.
I mean, no, I assume they have like rehabilitation at this point, but it's like... What?
But what are they being rehabilitated for? They're innocent people.
Yeah, they're just scavengers that are like running away from the Federation.
Yeah, this is honestly like we were talking about the war of northern aggression at the beginning of this episode. This is the war of Federation aggression.
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, they ain't got no rights in this Federation.
I would be like, take me in. All right, fine. Let's go to one of your. Let's have a trial episode. Let's argue this in court. Like, you'll see that like I have every right to pursue this. If anything, like they're using their power and authority to just just try to undo other people who are just living their lives, just like, get it for themselves because they're acting within completely selfish goals here, like the Federation is, because they want it for themselves, and they're, they're arguing, well, of course the Breen are going to use it for something evil, just like, it's like, oh, that's kind of racist.
Yeah, right. Kind of.
Just like, we can't let it get into the hands of the Breen, those people, helmet heads.
Right. They've only seen the future. Like, yeah, it's weird because they've only seen the future where the Breen get it, the technology. They don't see the future where the Federation gets the technology, which could be worse.
Same thing could have happened.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing could happen because it's like a technology that is completely beyond our understanding. Even in the future, it's beyond their understanding. It's something that it's like they're just like the Breen, Romulans, everybody else, they probably have the same concept that they're the only ones that can actually
like harness this power,
and operate this, and be responsible with it. Like everyone believes that, in the Federation. I think that shows like a bit of immaturity and just like on the part of the Federation to think that they also that they alone have the ability to wield it responsibly, and they don't.
That's normal for the Federation, though. I mean, the Federation always thinks that they're superior, whatever. So, on the bridge, Maul can't access the containment field. Book can't help, and Maul is angry. Book says he used to love Michael like Maul loves Locke. He also says he hated his father, too. Maul says it's not working, and she needs to get back to Locke. So back in the past, Maul and Locke share a moment, and he tells her to leave before the morning shift gets there. Maul says she got new contracts, and he won't be seeing Locke for who knows how long. It's a money issue, and she needs a lot of money to settle in a colony on the Gamma Quadrant. As they're saying goodbyes, Locke's uncle shows up. In the present, Maul says she's done waiting and creates a power surge to burn through the security system and kill the containment field. In Medbay, they hear an explosion and the force field disappears, so Locke tries to leave. A fight ensues between him and Burnham, and she easily bests him. Why is Michael Burnham the best at fighting? I don't think she's ever lost a fight except to herself. That's the only fight she's ever lost, was in like the last episode, to herself. But that's only because she got better.
She has a couple years of experience more than the other version.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I know. It's just like, that's the thing. Like, I'm going to make a guess about what the next episode is going to be.
What's that?
It's going to be Book and Burnham, Book Burn, going on a away mission.
Sure.
Them talking, waxing poetic about dumb bullshit, about like, we need to, reach Maul and Locke because they're just lost, just like we are.
Exactly. In reaching Maul and Locke, can we reach each other?
We can reach each other,
right.
And then like there's a karate fight over the Indiana Jones relic, and then they heroically get the Indiana Jones relic, and then like then we just go back and we repeat till the 10th episode.
No, I think there's only like 6 relics, and I think this is the 4th. So they got like 2 more episodes to get relics, and once they get all the relics, they're gonna go find the technology. Episode 9 is gonna be them like resolving like the whole Maul and Locke situation, and then 10 is gonna be like
Maul and Locke's gonna join them or some shit,
Right. And then episode 10,
I think also I think it's gonna be like Maul and Locke will probably actually just get onto the ship and then steal like the things that they're getting, because honestly, like. One thing that's not being unsaid is that Maul and Locke don't have a complete thing. They don't have any of the pieces.
No,
like they need those pieces, and Bookburn has gotten every single piece.
Sure,
they don't have shit. Like, so they have nothing to negotiate with.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like if the Federation should be like, okay, well, we obviously we have all the pieces. We have the more powerful negotiating thing. Like, what if you help us and then we help you with your thing instead of fighting against each other, which would be a normal thing for them to do in any other Star Trek. It's just they can negotiate with them because they see that their interests aren't separate.
They're unreasonable.
Yeah,
they're unreasonable.
But then, but if they do that, then Bookburn can't do karate all the time, and because that's what I understand, like why they're even fighting with them, because they can't do shit. They don't have the pieces.
No,
they don't have any of the pieces.
So on the bridge, Bookburn's shuttle flies off the ship, their only way out. The computer warns of impact in 8 minutes. They got to get out of there. Booker says nothing bad will happen to Maul or Locke because his planet is dead and her dad was a good mentor to him, which makes her family. I don't get why. So he picks up his gun and hands it to her. She threatens to kill him, but doesn't. In medbay, Burnham is still beating the shit out of Locke. It's weird how like much she can kick ass, but no one's ever like truly hurt from her.
No. And no one even shows any. Well, I mean, there was that one episode where Burnham showed some bruising, but like, they get hit in the face a lot. But I mean, given they have thousands of years more of like medical technology, but it's just like even in the moment they don't really.
That'd be great because they are in medbay. It'd be so funny if they were like fighting each other and like one of them breaks the other's arm and they like heal it quickly and just keep fighting. That would be a sick scene, actually. Yeah, that would be sick. But that's too interesting. It just has to be just like karate fight. Just like the most boring karate fight you've ever seen, where it's just boring gunfight, boring karate fight, occasional boring
like I don't give a fuck.
Fight. Yeah. I don't either. I mean, I don't really care about like action adventure in the modern sense, like at all. And this is an action adventure show, so maybe it's for somebody.
Yeah, I mean,
it's definitely for somebody.
If it did interesting things, like you were saying, like how they're fighting in the med bay and suddenly like take a moment to just repair their broken arm and be like, do like the Henry Cavill like Mission Impossible punch jack thing that he does. You know, doing this, doing that something. You know, just something interesting to keep your attention on, just like on to make the fights more interesting. But I think they just have like very basic fight choreography where it's just like, okay, we're not going to actually like make anything visually interesting. Not going to be like a Jackie Chan or Jet Li type fight scene. It's just going to be like punch, kick, punch, kick, punch,
kick, punch. So,
ad nauseum.
but Locke gets a knife, so no more kicking and punching. He tells Burnham to move. She beats him up some more and takes the clue, but in doing so, Locke stabs himself. Michael Burnham's just so good. Maul comes in and tells them to fuck off. Book tells Burnham the shuttle is gone. Burnham says they have to find a way and leaves with Book. In the past, the Breen are beating the shit out of Maul. His uncle says this is an insult to his heritage. Locke says if they deny their nature, they deny themselves. His uncle says there is only one path to redemption and gives Locke a gun to kill Maul. He points it
also,
out.
One thing I hate that they're doing is like, also it seems like they're doing like making the Breen into like the Mandalorians.
100%.
You know,
100%. Very like, much Mandalorian.
I always felt like the Breen just wore those masks. They just didn't want outsiders to know what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
Or
because it was like an atmospheric thing, like they have like a highly toxic atmosphere, so going on to Class M planets like is toxic to them.
Yeah, like they could be like another sort of like, you know, a silicon based like life form or something where like
or they're
like
jelly,
air is poisonous
like
to them.
Yeah.
Or they're underwater type creatures, but
or they don't have a form really, which would be interesting.
Oh yeah, that's kind of one of like they're just like, you know, can't trust no man, which is made of gas.
Right.
You know? Like they could be like a gaseous life form or something. Like instead, it's like, okay, no, they're just like the Mandalorians, where like their helmet is their true face.
Right.
Which is like, okay.
All
right,
that's fine. This is the way. So
this is the way.
Locke points the gun at Maul, but blasts the guards and holds his uncle at gunpoint, then shoots him in the shoulder. He says he didn't kill him because his uncle raised him and tells Maul to take off. Maul implores him to come with her, but he says the Breen will never stop hunting him. She cries a bit and convinces him to come with her. On the Mirror Enterprise bridge, Burnham says there should be enough power to activate a tractor beam. Oh, they got an idea. They got an idea here. And I actually I like this idea. This is fine, and they don't spend too much time with technobabble on it. So, on the bridge of the Discovery, Raynor asks what's happening, and they see a tractor beam from something coming out of the wormhole, and Raynor calls Stamets and Adira to get to the bridge. But they're there as though they were just waiting outside the door, which is really weird. Raynor, like I know they have personal like transporters, but like they beam right outside the door, I guess, and then come right in, which is like, why didn't they just beam onto the bridge? Anyway, Raynor tells them to make the hole bigger, and I've asked people to do the same thing in my life before. So Raynor tells them to make the hole bigger and says their captain is coming out, and he's like, make it gape, everybody. And they're like, get more lube. Get more wormhole lube. So Stamets asks
we need more lube.
Stamets asks how they're coming out, and some technobabble ensues. The rest of the bridge crew gets one line each, and they figure it out. Raynor is pleased. And I'm like, why do they even have a bridge crew on this show? Like, they don't let them talk at all. Discovery fires a bunch of torpedoes at the wormhole, and they get the Enterprise's tractor beam. Book tries to get Burnham to say hit it, but she feels like it's weird to do that. With 20 seconds left to go, the Mirror Enterprise is pulled out right in time, and the wormhole explodes behind them. Oh no. Suddenly the Enterprise is preparing to fire on their sensors, but it's a Terran war pod escaping, with Maul and Locke inside. They warp away before they can get them, but leave a warp signature in their wake. With Burnham, Rayner recalls an old war story that was the code that Burnham used to alert him of the situation. She sent like a secret code, like a number oscillating in the tractor beam. They have a...
Again, this is like something that's like very briefly set up. It doesn't have any sort of like
real payoff. I feel like, no, it's whatever. So they have a pleasant moment, Burnham and Rayner, and she asks how it felt to be back in the captain's chair, and he says that's for the captain. Burnham tells Rayner to get some rest. In the ship bar, Linus is playing the jazz piano, and Culber comes over and talks to Tilly. Culber is there to talk to Tilly about his experiences, like how he died, because earlier she was like, if you ever need to talk, you can talk to me. So he's taking her up on that. So he gives an unnecessary speech to give Culber and Tilly some screen time in this episode. He says Stamets hates the unknown, so he doesn't know how to talk to him about these kind of things. What do you mean he hates the unknown? Like, he's a scientist. All he cares about is the unknown. Like, what? All right, so Tilly says the intellectual and spiritual are not far apart from each other, which I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here. And they could have tied it to something, but I don't know. So with Burnham, she's looking at a picture of a progenitor alone in her room, which is just really fucking weird. And it's a weird thing to do. She's just standing there staring out at alone, just a picture of a progenitor. Book comes in and asks if they found...
did she learn anything new the last time she stared at it? No,
she just gotta see it. So Book comes in and asks if they've found Maul and Locke, and Burnham says they have the clue. Book wonders why the clues always have a lesson behind them. They talk about hope and freedom, and we have another philosophical dialogue that we get in every episode. They see the Mirror Enterprise soaring away, and Burnham addresses what she said earlier about how they used to be happy. Stamets calls and says they're ready to test the clue. Book asks what happened when they put the clues together, and Burnham says she doesn't know, but she can't wait to find out. End of episode. That's the end of the episode. What do you think of this episode?
I hated it. I don't know. Like, nothing really stood out to me. Like, as I was saying,
it's a mirror episode, and they didn't do anything with the mirror, really, at all.
Didn't do anything with it. It's just like there's all these Chekhov guns that aren't fired. You know, it's just like because we have to give like this really repetitive story more precedence than anything else. So there really wasn't any sort of like deeper issue that like this episode was like a stand-in for or anything. Like we weren't like discussing anything about the human nature or like another like a larger issue about, you know, facing humanity. It was just like, got to do the Indiana Jones thing and get the thing from the evil people. And you know, they can put all this stuff like, you know, like your dad abandoned you type stuff in there, but there's nothing there. I just feel like the writing is really bad. There's like, you know, the stupid things, like they don't even try to like flesh out these characters as real people, you know, like giving Maul like, you know, like, oh, well, you know, like long walks on the beach, you know. It's like that's just like stock dialogue that you give to any sort of like bad girl type person, you know, just like you know. And it's just like everything just feels very packaged and not, there's nothing, they don't really take any sort of like, I think, risks or any in the story that are interesting. No, just like with storytelling or just like even exploring like these people as individuals.
The whole show is pretty devoid of risks in general. Like, I mean, if you look at the last season, like, you know, they killed off Book, which I'm like, oh, that's an interesting risk, okay. And then they just brought him back like immediately by the end of the season, and I'm like, okay, they kind of did the exact same thing with Culber. Like, they won't let anyone actually die on the show. Like, except for, I guess, in the original episode, the original like pilot, they actually killed off Georgiou. But like no one else is killed off.
That was shocking.
Yeah, the way
she was eaten by Klingons,
which is pretty fucking brutal, and that's why the first 2 seasons are definitely the best seasons of the show. Because there are risks here and there for sure, especially in the first season. I feel like they took a bunch of risks. Like after the pilot, like the first episode was like a space horror type episode, which was pretty risky, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Instead, like I feel like this has just been focusing entirely on just like whatever big bad of the season is, and just like making every single episode about that with some tertiary like sci-fi stuff like in the background, but like it doesn't matter to anything. Like we have really cool black hole that's only visible under a certain spectrum, that's opening and closing. We have the Terran Enterprise, again, an interesting set piece that could have like led to almost sort of, Mir Saru leading a rebellion and escaping to the Terran universe. I mean, to the Prime universe, and that's just all like it does like the telling, not showing, and I'm like, okay, well, it's like, and then the stuff they do show us, which is stuff that we've story plot points that have been hashed and rehashed over and over and over again every single episode, and I'm just like, it just gets really boring to me.
I mean, and I think like a big problem with it too is like it feels like a show where they are spending all of the money in the wrong places. Like, it is an incredibly well-produced show. Like, the show looks, like, in the space scenes and stuff, I'd say as good as, like, The Expanse, which is one of the best sci-fi shows ever, in my opinion.
It does look very good, and instead of, like, doing a thing where we get to see, Mir Saru and, like, all that stuff, it's like, okay, well, we couldn't get people. We couldn't afford the...
Yeah, Doug Jones didn't want to be in the episode. Like, he doesn't like working under the makeup, so...
instead we gotta like have like laser fights in space, and that's where the plots go in, and I just feel it's all being squandered, and I feel and I do think like making the last season focus entirely on one episode of Star Trek TNG, I think is a bad choice, because it's like having to rely entirely on a much better episode, an episode that's like so far better than this entire season. Right. I would watch that
more
episode
in one episode than they have so far in this entire season. Like, So I was not a fan of this episode, not gonna lie. I'd give it maybe 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I was thinking 3 for me. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just so funny, just like thinking how I engage with all other Star Trek, where I feel it's endlessly rewatchable. Like, any sort of episodes on, you're just locked in, you're just like captivated by like the performances, like the personal relationship you build with the characters. And I feel like, because of the frantic nature, it's like has to be like, go from one space adventure to the another. We're not really giving any character enough room to breathe and just feel like a person. And I feel like they have to rely on different I'm a therapist type stuff, and like this sort of like faux therapy speak. It's like very disingenuous to like give them any sort of like depth, and it doesn't work. Like, they don't feel like people who exist in a sense. They just feel like, just like action figures being dancing around and stuff.
Yeah. It's I don't know. The whole show has devolved to me into something that doesn't really feel like Star Trek in any way. It definitely feels like, I don't know, like an action adventure sci-fi show, but like Star Trek in name only. It's a Steino. Yeah. It's a Steino. Star Trek in name only. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and yeah, as we said, like, you know, also like last episode gave us like that time travel, and you know, a jumping off point for interesting things. They gave us like another Soong android, a jumping off place for tell an interesting story. And these things are just almost like speed bumps to just like,
no, they're just references.
We gotta get to the book burn.
They're just references.
Yeah, they're just references.
Like they fucking brought in the fucking robot Fred, and they're just like, oh, it's Data. It's Data. Bang, he's dead. Like. He does one thing.
He's lived 600 years,
right.
and that's just like a speed bump. That's like, okay, well, we gotta focus more on the book burn relationship.
And then they get his memory, right? And they look through his memory and they find what they need, and they're like, well, that's it. That's good. This is a fucking android who's lived 600 years of living history that you fucking missed. You missed those goddamn 600 years, and you could like actually
you literally have like an entire record of everything that he saw.
Yeah, and he's an android, so he knows shit. He knows a lot of shit. He knows all the shit. Like, I'd upload that memory into my computer bank and be like, fucking, like, give me a brief summary of history through this guy's eyes. Like, that's
and said he's just somehow dead.
And that could be an episode right there, a history through a fucking android's eyes. That would be amazing.
Yeah, fascinating story. Instead, it's just like, well, no, I think we should focus on these two couriers instead. You know, these two people are way more interesting, even though they just feel like, you know, standard, you know, your standard cookie cutter Bonnie and Clyde type characters,
right?
Or you know, it's like I feel like a story we've seen a million times before and offers nothing new. Like, sure, we got like the reveal of the Breen thing, but I'm like, I don't care about this guy. I don't give a fuck. Like, right. I like the mystery of the Breen never being seen, as opposed to just them just being the green guys, but.
Right. And it feels like the only way this is Star Trek is they're just like building a storyline around references from old Star Trek, but like not really making anything new other than expanding on old Star Trek. I mean, and the new stuff that they're doing is, I don't know, like all this action adventure shit, like stuff that they're, you know, taking from like young Indiana Jones novels and shit like that. You know?
We really need them like running from a giant stone, like sphere or something, you know, and just like a big boulder needs to be rolling at them. And
I'd actually enjoy that if they leaned into it a little bit more and like they gave one of them a whip. You know, and like
do something.
Fucking
like,
Book's suddenly afraid of snakes. You know.
Yeah, I just don't like the tone of it, where it's just like, okay, well, we have to punish these two people because they don't fit our societal norms. And let's not forget, like, the Federation has just recently again become like a larger, you know, force inside, and you know, because they've been split up and they were so separated, like they haven't had an ability to enforce any sort of like coherent vision or a set of laws, or like or what space they occupy.
I mean,
like,
the fucking
they almost
like Book,
it almost seems like still like the Wild West.
Yeah, Book has not been punished for his crimes of the last season, which was like defecting in an official capacity. Like in the Federation military, that went like unpunished.
He's the second in command. He's the second in command of Discovery. But yeah, it's just like, and that's why I feel like it's like unfair to be holding these people to the Federation type standards when the Federation has just started to become like a larger power within the Alpha Quadrant again. Whereas like they weren't for so long, and now you're going to suddenly start like judging how these other people are living their lives and making moral judgments on them when you were just like, in the grand terms of the progenitors, you're still like, you're an infant as well,
right
in the terms of like being able to wield this power responsibly.
Right, but it's more like they don't want the Breen to get it, but at the same time they haven't been like, we're going to like hide it away forever, or like, yeah, we're going to find the clues.
Yeah, they want to use it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, they should be like, we're going to find all the clues and then destroy the clues. Like, that's the only sensible thing to do. Like, I don't know. No, so
they should be destroying like these blocks when they get them. But obviously, like, I think there's going to be like the big dramatic thing. I'm reading the future because like this plot is so predictable that Maul and Locke are going to steal it. They're going to get it, and then they're going to have to talk them down from using. Like,
I was going to say there's got to be an episode where like Maul and Locke get the fucking like all of the artifacts together, and just like steal them somehow. Because they're just so clever. They got us all these black market things like time bugs and stuff. How much did they fucking spend on that time bug? I gotta wonder. Like,
yeah,
are they really that hard up for money? Like, yeah, Jesus.
Also, like, you think like just having the ability to just like go to a different region of space. Like, obviously, like, they use some sort of like slipstream technology to get to like another quadrant where like the Breen won't be hunting them down. Like, or like, why don't they negotiate? Why isn't like Discovery, now that they have this information, they have all this information, like they know what to bring them. Hey, we have like a mushroom drive that can take us anywhere. We can take you to the fucking Gamma quadrant. We can take you to the fucking Delta quadrant.
Because they say they want to go to the Gamma quadrant in here.
Yeah. And we can literally take you there, and you don't need to do this. And we have what you need. But of course, if they did that, they would lose any ability to have like a story where they do karate against them.
That's true.
And we have to do like 7 more episodes of karate. And
like,
so
all of the stunt actors have like dyed blonde wigs now, like Maul. So like they blew
really
through their wig budget, and
like,
so
that's what really gets me about this, about like also, all their faux, like concerned trolling type stuff, like like and believing in the better in people. Like, they're very, it's very liberal, where it's just like they're very punishing. They believe in like and punishing, and just completely just destroying them and being violent against them, instead of actually trying to negotiate them with any sort of like way that would be beneficial to both parties. Instead of, it's just like, well, no, we have to punish these people, we have to fight them, we have to completely remove their abilities to make a life for themselves.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, what they say versus their actions. Like, the thing that really surprised me in this episode, like, morally, was them bursting into the room on Maul and Locke just shooting. And they say, they're shooting at the hollow thing, but once they start like getting shot at, they shoot back. And that's like, you're trying to kill these people at that point. And they're doing karate that could definitely kill these people, in which, like, fucking Locke gets a knife stuck in him because fucking Burnham is unwilling to move and let him go.
And she has the inability to just like stay her hand and negotiate with him and do some diplomacy. It has to to react violently, and that's all they do. And
it's a 5-knuckle diplomacy, baby.
Books yeah, I know. And the fact that like the Federation now has like these red directives now, where it's just like basically given like the 007 license to kill type shit. Yeah, it's just like, is that Star Trek? Is that it's just like, why do we have to have this like this thing where we go, it's like, it says that we were allowed to do whatever war crimes we want.
Everyone in Star Trek Discovery is a CIA agent. Some of them are good CIA agents, some of them are bad CIA agents, but they're all CIA agents because Alex Kurtzman is obsessed with the CIA.
He is, like, in a bad way,
not in like a red fucking chaos, and like is like, what the fuck.
So there's good operators and there's bad operators, and it's up to the good operators to do whatever in their power to and that's the thing, like like them even just like going after them in this way would be like a huge moral quandary for like everyone involved. But it's just like, it's just like, yeah. Oh well, we can justify it.
I didn't really think about it before, but with the Red Directive, they're essentially creating Section 31 all over again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're getting their Section 31 show.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a depressing note to end on. You got anything else to say on the show?
No, just like, looking forward to Strange New Worlds, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope so. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens,
We'll
baby.
see how it goes.
All right. Well, if you want to support us, please go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dumbidiotbs. And you know what else you should do? You should go like, rate, and subscribe to us anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you didn't already do that, we especially love reading reviews, nice reviews. So go leave a nice review for us, either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or, I don't know, wherever
you can write a review as long as you're nice to me.
Yeah,
and otherwise,
leave a Google review.
Don't.
Yeah. Or just email us a review telling us how nice we are and how much you love our beautiful voices. We also have a Discord. If you want our Discord, hit us up on like Instagram or whatever, and we'll give you a link to the Discord. Yeah, that's about all I got. You got anything? Nope. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Have fun, y'all. Bye. Thanks for checking with us, soy boys, girls, and woodley beans.
Hang dong.
Hang dong.
And
shocker. Shocker.
We'll never get it right.
No.
Soy,
All right.
soy, 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 soy,
Welcome to the Fart Club, the Fart Club. Welcome to the Fart Club, the Fart Club. Welcome to the Fart Club, the Fart Club. We gonna fart, we gotta motherfucking fart. Welcome to the Fart Club, the Fart Club. Welcome to the Fart Club, the Fart Club. Welcome to the Fart Club, the Fart Club. We gonna fucking fart, we gonna fucking fart. We gonna motherfucking fart.